Hello my friends from the interwebs, Survive with Knife here, and I'm finally doing another knife review. I have not done one in a long time, so I am due. And I have in front of you a knife that I am very excited about. This is the ESEE 6 knife made by Randall's Adventure Training. This was a gift from my wife for Christmas. She keeps buying me knives, so she's contributing to the addiction, I guess. But this is one of my favorite ones that she's given me. I really like this one. And let's just get right into the review before I get carried away. So the first thing we're going to look at is the handle material. This handle is linen micarta with removable screws, so you can actually remove these handle scales to clean it out and to just do maintenance on the knife. It has very nice, this one here has an orange or reddish liner in here, which just adds to the attractiveness of the knife. I think it's a very good looking knife. Typical Bowie drop point style. There is a little bit of actually back to the handle here before I move on, is I find the handle to actually be very comfortable. It's a fairly large handle, so it's going to accommodate most hands. It doesn't have a lot of contouring going on in here, so that you know, that some knives just have too much going on there, and so it ends up only fitting a certain amount of the population's hands. But this is very comfortable in this grip, or either a choked up grip on the knife. Just have a lot of real estate. You can actually move to the back of it and maybe use the lanyard with that to get yourself a little bit more chopping ability there. So the handle is nicely rounded here on the edges, which make it very comfortable. And the linen micarta actually keeps its grip even when it's wet. In fact, from my experience, if it's wet, it's even a little bit grippier. It becomes a little tacky. So it's just it's really a good handle to use for outdoor purposes and survival purposes. Jimping, there is a little bit on the back of the blade here. It's not overly aggressive. It's fairly nice and smooth. I don't know if you can see that there, but I do like jimping on my knives. It gives you just a little bit more of a thumb ramp there, and just a little bit extra purchase on the knife when you're doing some more finer detail work. It would also help you if you were using this knife in more of a self-defense purpose and role. The blade steel is a really good and proven steel for woodsman use, and that is the 1095 high carbon steel. Just a really great outdoor steel, fairly easy to sharpen, and just keeps and retains a good edge. This actually still has the factory edge on it, and the factory edge was really good. I've done some touch-up on it, but I've had this on 3 outings, and all I've done is just touch it up a little bit, and it is still extremely sharp. I should be able to shave with that with no problem. I don't know if you guys can see that. Pick that up there, but there's a lot of hair on there. So I also have a piece of paper here. I don't know if I can do this around the tripod. I always kind of screw this up around the tripod, but we'll try this. You can see that edge is really good. So no complaints about the factory edge, how it came from the factory. I didn't have to do really any work at all before I took it out. Sometimes I have to do that, and that can be kind of frustrating. You pay a lot of money for a knife, and it doesn't even come with a good edge on it. But that's not the case here. With this knife here, like I already mentioned, traditional drop point. You can also get this knife with a sharpened swedge up here. They do have that version of the SE6. That is not something that I want, especially for batoning purposes. I want that flat top up here. At some point I will probably actually hit the back of this with a belt sander at one point to make that more conducive to striking a fire steel on there. So let's go over the dimensions of the knife overall, from the butt to the tip of the knife. We have 11 3/4 inches. The cutting length is 5 3/4 from the choil here to the tip, and the blade length itself from right here, from where the handle scales end to the tip, is 6 1/2 inches. The blade width right here is 1 and 1.56 inches, and the thickness of it is 0.188 inches, which is actually one of the things I really like about this knife. This is not an overly thick knife, and I'll do some comparisons with some other blades here in a little bit. But that's actually even what makes this knife, and that's going on to the next thing, weigh only 12 ounces, which is a good weight for this size of a knife. It's not nearly as thick as most of today's survival knives with 6 1/2 inch blades would be. And so it has very good weight, but yet it still has a lot of the same capabilities without the excessively large slab of steel. The Rockwell hardness of the blade is 55 to 57. The ergonomics, as I already mentioned, are very good overall in all positions, even if you would use this in a reverse grip as a fighting knife. The sheath here is a molded plastic. I think they did a really good job with the sheath. It has a drainage hole here at the bottom so that moisture will escape, or if you get water in it, it'll pour out. I've got paracord wrapped around this one, but it does come with a piece of paracord here and this cord stop right here. It comes with a belt clip, or you can get it with also a MOLLE backing if you want to. I got this with the belt clip, which is what I wanted. It attaches with 4 screws to the sheath, so you can move it around in different places. You could either lower it or you could turn it sideways for sideways carry. So there's different ways that you can carry this, and you can flip this back and forth for left or right carry too, which is a really good advantage. So I could flip this to the other side here, and I could carry it on the other side of my person. So it's just a really good sheath. I think it's a very good sheath. Not Kydex, but you know what? Kydex is basically plastic also. This is just a very good sheath. Really like it. Now getting onto the knife roll. Well, this is primarily a survival blade, but I think this would also make a good soldier blade. I think tactical self-defense, maybe not self-defense, but tactical when it comes to military type use or law enforcement. I think it would make a great blade, since it's not as heavy as a lot of other blades. Like, let's take here, let's bring this one here in, the Cold Steel Recon Scout. With that 5/16, I mean, let's just compare the spines of these knives. There's a huge difference. You know, I really couldn't recommend this as a tactical fighting knife. It's just, frankly, it's just too heavy. It's going to be too slow into action. Here's another one. The K-Bar Heavy Bowie does not have as thick of a spine as the Cold Steel Recon Scout, but still is thicker than the SE6. Here's another one that I haven't shown for a long time, and this is the Cold Steel SRK, which even this knife here has a thicker spine than the SE6. And this here is AUS 8 steel, and this is even a shorter knife, you can see there, than the SE6. Let's do a comparison with with the Pathfinder made by Blind Horse Knife, PSK. You can see that that has quite a bit of a thicker spine on it also. So, you know, this knife being lighter and not as thick is going to make it more conducive to also fit into the tactical role. So wood processing, batoning, brush clearing, shelter building, even food preparation, this knife is going to excel in. It's going to do a really good job. Even with the fact that it's not as thick of a blade, it's going to make it better for, you know, slicing potatoes and onions and tomatoes. It's going to work well for you in that. Hunting, you know, while it has a little bit larger blade than I personally would use for skinning and taking care of deer and stuff, it could definitely do it. And some people actually like the larger blades like that, like this for that purpose. Usually I like a little bit smaller, around the 3-4 inch size for that. But this would work well in that role. Utility. This is not really a utility knife. This is a survival knife, and that's what you're going to want to use it as. Also, I didn't even bring it up, but the coating on this blade, I'm actually pretty impressed with it. It's actually held up really well. A lot better than some of the other coatings that I've had on some fixed blade survival knives. So that is a pretty good coating on that blade. Cool factor, I think it really actually does have it. You know, it does really have that. It has that wow factor that when you're out with your buddies and you pull this knife out, they're going to like it. Actually, I did want to point out one other thing here, which I forgot to mention, is the extended pommel here. So you do have a striking surface you can use for pounding steaks or some other additional camp chores like that, where you have to pound something. You have the extended pommel, and I think that's a very nice touch on there. The price of this knife, I actually forgot to look that up just before I did the review, but I believe this knife runs around $130, $140. Most of the versions run there. They have a wide range of different handle scale colors, both coated and uncoated blades, sharpened swedge, so you just really have to look to see the one that you really want to have. And they also have different sheath options. Like I said, you can get this plastic sheath with a MOLLE backing to it, or you can get it with the belt clip. The nice thing about the belt clip here is that it is removable. You don't have to feed your belt through and remove your belt to get the knife off. You can just clip it on and remove it, and the retention is very good. Once that is on your belt, it's just not going to come off unless you deliberately are going to remove it. So there you guys go. That is my review of the ESEE 6 survival knife. Great knife. If you like it, go out and pick yourself up one. You guys have a great day. Survive with Knife out.